Assalamu alaikum. So now we continue the second part of the lecture. It's about what we call a free translation, tarjama al-hurra, or non-literal translation. Exactly the opposite of the literal, or what we call word for word translation, or what we call formal translation, or non-metaphorical translation. This is a free translation, is about that strategy which is concerned with translating a given word or text or phrase or expression freely, to translate it freely with no limitations, with certain type of limitations. Or the translator, in this kind of translation, the translator is not limited, not constrained by any kind of context. يعني المترجم غير محدود بشيء. Or the direct and available meaning of words and the phrases. يعني he is always not after the available meaning of words or phrases. He goes outside. In this particular kind of translation, the translator goes outside the text and context and behind and beyond words and the phrases. So no limitations are put on his translation. So he translates freely. He can translate something the way he understands. This is very important. He is not translating the way he likes, but the way he understands. So this kind of translation is subject to the way a given translator understands the text in hand. Not because we have another type of free translation, which is loose free translation. That is, there is no limitations at all, and the translator, according to that kind of translation, it translates the way he likes. No, here he translates the way he understands. So accordingly, this kind of translation, free translations of two types: the bound free translation, يعني الترجمة الحرة المقيدة, though it is free, but there are certain limitations. And we have the loose free translation, أو الترجمة الحرة غير المقيدة, اللي المترجم يترجم كما يحلو له في الثانية. So for instance, in bound free translation, this type of translation is derived from the context. So it's based on context in a direct way, though it may go out of it in some way or another, in the form in some sort of exaggeration or expressivity and effectiveness. It is based on the context. So, for instance, when we say about somebody that he got nothing at the end, we can say عاد بلا شيء. This is also acceptable, but we can use this free translation, free bound translation, عاد بخفي حنين أو عاد خالي الوفاض, like he came back zero-handed. The same is applied to such kind of translation. So this is a free translation because it doesn't stick to the literal or direct meaning of the words, because خفي حنين are not found in the source text. ما موجودة بالنص الأصل. He got nothing at the end. But according to free translation, we can the function is the same. عاد بخفي حنين has the same function as he got nothing at the end. أو عاد خالي الوفاض. She was sad deep down. She was sad deep down. تفطر قلبها من الحزن أصبح فؤادها فارغا. This is a free translation because these expressions are not available in the source text. قلبها وتفطر ما موجودة, أو أصبح فؤادها فارغا ما موجودة she was sad, deep. But the function, or what the function of the two expressions are the same, because what the first sentence expresses or functions is exactly the same as the translation does. So this kind of translation is, as we call, free bounded translation. For instance, east or west, home is best, is translated into كم منزل في الأرض ألفه الفتى وحنينه أبدا لأول منزلي. It is a great translation, very nice, but this is not a direct translation, because it is a free translation, though it is very nice, very expressive translation. But the direct translation could be لا شيء كالوطن, east or west, home is best, شرقت أو غربت لا شيء كالوطن, could be. But كم منزل في الأرض ألفه الفتى وحنينه أبدا لأول منزلي, this is a free translation, but it is a wonderful translation. Love me, love my dog could be translated يحبني يحب من أحبني أحب كلبي, أو من أحبني أحب عائلتي, or something like that. But when it is translated freely, وأحبها وتحبني ويحب ناقتها بعيري, it is a very, very nice translation, because it expresses the same function in such a very good way. My friend got the top very soon. امتدى صديقي صهوة المجد في أسرع من البرق. This is a free translation. But it could be وصل صديقي إلى القمة بسرعة فائقة. This is literal or direct translation. So a free translation is the translation that is, free bounded translation is that type of translation which express or translate the source text in such an effective, expressive, and very formal Arabic, because it is based on the expressions from the Holy Quran, for instance, like she had a new baby, رزقها الله مولودا, because Allah is not there in the source text, لكن ممكن نقول وضعت مولودا جديدا. وأيضا مستفيدة هذه الترجمة الفري باوند translation من البروفيت tradition من السنة النبوية, تعبيرها من religious expressions, من البروفربs, الأمثال, من collocations الموجودة في Arabic language. So it is one of the best ways to translate non-literal expressions like these. So all these free translations are derived in one way or another from the original, although they have gone far from the source text. هذا النوع من الترجمة اللي free bound translation, though it goes far from the source text, but it is still, let me say, express the original meaning. This is the way we look at a free bound translation. هذه ترجمة حرة ولكنها مقيدة بالسياق, مقيدة بالمعنى المتوفر باللغة. So it is, though free, it is very good kind of translation. So accordingly, we know more about still this direct literal translation of meaning is a better version of these statements as suggested below. فلم يحصل على شيء في النهاية, he got nothing in the end, أو رجع بخفي حنين, both are possible, لكن الرجع بخفي حنين is free and so wonderful translation. The same is true with the other examples. You can go through the examples on page 14 to 15. The second part and the last part of translation is the loose free translation. الترجمة الحرة الغير مقيدة أو السائبة. In this particular kind of a translation, the translator now is free to do what he likes, not what he understands. And this is not good kind of a translation, because there is some sort of looseness or let me say exaggeration in the way translators often translate. For instance, to translate thank you, Mr. Wilson, next please, some translators translate this تفضل بانصراف يا سيد ويلسون عندنا غيرك. Or it's 9:30 انتهى الوقت وانتهت الحصة علينا بالمغادرة أو تأخرنا كثيرا. This is too free translation. بينما كان من الممكن يعني شكرا يا سيد ويلسون الذي يليه لو سمحت، أو الساعة 9:30. يعني instead of يعني understanding it as انتهى الوقت علينا بالمغادرة. Thank you ladies and gentlemen. هدوء أيها السيدات والسادة. هذا too free translation. It is ممكن يعني شكرا أيها السيدات والسادة. طبعا المينينج الintended meaning هذا pragmatic meaning. يعني تقول للواحد it's 9:30. Literal meaning and you tell him about the time, but the non-literal meaning, I mean the pragmatic meaning, or you may intend to say to him that it's time for you to leave. يعني indirectly you tell him to let you alone or to leave you. This is true, but it is too free a translation. When someone says in a restaurant and says to the waiter, يقول للنادل بالمطعم, no bacon with my breakfast please. ممكن ترجمتها أنا مسلم. This is too free translation. نقول له لا تعطيني، أنا ما أتناول لحم الخنزير على فطوري. يعني ممكن تتفهم أن أنا مسلم. This is too free translation. ممكن هو يعني يقول لا أريد شرائح الخنزير مع فطوري لو سمحت. And then the reader can understand that this is a Muslim. But to translate it as أنا مسلم, this is too free. هذا يعني مبالغة في حرية الترجمة. وهذا شيء يعني مبالغ به كثير ولا يمكن. Such kind of translation is used only when it is in certain contexts, when the speaker means things indirectly. So you can look at examples on page 16 to 17 to see to what extent a free translation is not, let me say, not desirable. For instance, books are very expensive today. ممكن ترجمتها إلى يعني لقد عزف الناس عن القراءة اليوم. يعني someone may say this and to mean, ممكن أحد يقول أن البوكس are expensive today وهو يقصد أن الناس عزفت عن القراءة هذا اليوم. But this is too far and too free to translate. ممكن ترجمة الكتب بهذا الثمن هذا اليوم مثل ما هي، والقارئ ممكن يفهم أن فيها إشارة indirect to the عزوف الناس عن القراءة. And this is too far. So this loose translation disregards the direct والhome context completely. يعني ما تهتم بالسياق أبدا. ويعني it never cares for the available meaning of the words used in a given context. So now we know all the translation strategies available to us. So the next presentation you have to focus on should be, I'd like to find the page. So the next lecture should be, or we are going to focus on collocations in translation, and I'll tell you the pages or the page numbers then or later. Thank you so much for your time today.